Good morning. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate the opportunity to meet with you all today. And a very special thank you to PolyAI for inviting me to their very first PolyAI VOX event to share our ongoing AI journey with all of you. I do live in St. Louis, Missouri. I haven't had a minute to jump onto the chat and say hello. But I've been with Nestlé Purina PetCare for almost 23 years, very soon, 23 years at the end of this month. All of my time has been spent in consumer services. I now have the privilege to lead consumer care for Purina, which includes delighting our consumers who contact us with questions and concerns regarding our pet foods, treats, and litter products, as well as our D2C and loyalty programs. A few things to know about me. I am completely consumer obsessed, like all of you, and we work very hard to ensure our consumers know how important they are to us and how much we care about them and their pets. I love, love, love supporting our frontline team. It all starts with them. And my very small internal team here, we work really hard to create processes and procedures, as well as activating technology to make work easier for our frontline team members. Very process driven and yet agility focused. We know that process drives excellence, but we also understand the need to pivot quickly and streamline as needed. And I love to collaborate, and I appreciate the opportunity to network and connect with any of you. Feel free to connect with me after today's meeting. So our digital transformation started as a top-down initiative. In mid-2021, we were asked to complete a 9-hour online class, about 9 chapters, focused on better understanding AI. The online class was created by a local university in collaboration with our leadership team here at Purina, and every chapter had an AI example involving consumer care. And I quickly realized that I better get ahead of this AI thing, because if I didn't, someone else here within our campus would be making decisions for us. And I didn't need the marketing team to do that. I didn't need our IT team to do that. I needed to take the lead because I needed solutions that could be easily integrated with our existing ways of working. Because we were all being asked to leverage technology, other teams within Purina, they were really supportive of us being the leaders in the next steps with the technology activation, but I wasn't quite sure where or how to start. So this is the framework that I came up with that I wanted to share with you today, and I hope it's helpful. I also know that we are all facing the same challenges. Consumer expectations are changing. We have increased complexities with our products and services, shifts in the labor market, and we need to keep things simple for our team, but focusing on adding value to our organization. We also know we need to keep it simple so we can reduce attrition. How I got started is I really defined my objectives. I looked out to the next 3 to 4 years, and then the areas I focused on were service, technology, reporting. I thought about I want to do X so I can get to Y. So I had to identify capabilities to add value. Channel support was one. When did it make sense to use AI? You can't use AI every day, all day, as much as we would love to. We needed to start small. We needed to pivot when needed. It was going to take time. And most importantly, I needed to get a budget. And I knew that AI wasn't something that you set and forget. Technology isn't an add-on. It changes the way you work because you do need to adjust your processes and procedures to support the technology, to integrate the technology. So the framework that I came up with for us, was based on 3 streams: contact centers of the future, agent team of the future, and reporting of the future. And I broke it down into different buckets, what our goal was, what the description was, what our desired outcomes were, and what was that area of focus. Because again, you can't do it all, but maybe we could focus on the top 3 initiatives for these different streams. So when we look at the contact center of the future, and what is consumer facing, it's allowing the right technology and processes and procedures to drive agility and efficiencies. It's activating those tools to enhance the consumer journey to drive better service and improved operational performance. It's about creating or increasing self-service usage activities using PolyAI technologies is a great example. We're developing a business case now and when we want to and how we're going to bring PolyAI technology to life. It's about improved business continuity planning. We all have unplanned emerging events. We all have increase in volume that we don't expect. And how can we leverage that AI to help us with that volume? It's about improved efficiencies. Maybe it's even expanded hours of operation without increasing resources or a budget. When you need to be there at 2 o'clock in the morning and you just don't have the resources or budget to do that today. Our areas of focus were really based on smart use of automation, automate consumer-facing processes, and really drive consumer engagement. We want to make sure that our consumers are engaged and they're still very satisfied with our level of service. The next stream was the agent team of the future, how we enable our frontline agents to focus on the most value-added work. And the key is value-added work there. We want to utilize automation to improve ways of working, increase productivity, as well as job satisfaction. We really want to make sure that our agents are satisfied. We don't want them to leave us. We invest a lot of time, energy, money into developing an agent, and we really need them to stay with us. Some of our desired outcomes were improved efficiencies, improved satisfaction, again, for our consumer and our employees, our agents. We want to reduce error rates. We want better responses, faster responses, and we really do want to reduce costs, whether it's what we spend with consumers or operating costs. And the key is if we can save some money, we'll put that money right back into the team, right back into the operation, right back into new technology. So that's another reason why we want those desired outcomes. Again, we want our employees and associates to feel enabled, empowered, drive consumer satisfaction, and really have smarter, better responses for our consumers. And then the reporting of the future. How can we help ensure that our voice of the consumer, all those consumers that contact us, and we need to disseminate that throughout the organization, how does that information stay relevant and accessible? How do we integrate and harness the power of the consumer data within our organization or within yours? We need to have better use cases and better ways to use our data and technology. We want to make sure that our internal clients, our internal partners, marketing, PR, legal, QA, quality assurance, that they're very happy with the data that we're providing. Most importantly, we want fewer surprises for them as well. And we also want to drive some reporting efficiencies. At the end of the day, it's about integrated data, comfort level with our data, close any gaps if you don't feel comfortable accessing our data, and just having access to the feedback that we're providing. So when we talk about contact center of the future, and we talk about what are some of those self-serve options that have worked best, we know that right now we're not really facing our consumers with any type of AI. And we're really excited to get things started with PolyAI. So when we come back in the future, I can share some different examples with you. But when we talk about AI, we talk about generative AI specifically, we know that we're not quite there in that journey either. But what we'd like to do at some point is maybe use generative AI to help answer frequently asked questions. We have a couple bots in place right now that use natural language processing. They're smart bots, but they're not generative AI bots. And so we know that we have to pay attention to what consumers are asking through the bot technology so we can continue to iterate and make sure we have the right information out there for our consumers. We know we need to keep an eye and triage those questions and answers. The information that we're collecting, is it spot on? Are we asking a little bit too much from our consumers and they're abandoning those chats? Again, we talked a little bit about how can you leverage AI for after-hours support, multi-language support. We have Spanish and French and English today, but is there more that we can and should be doing? Probably so. We would love to use AI to help us with onboarding new team members. We know that we have done some AI, and I'll share an example with you in a minute, that has reduced the onboarding time, but there's more that we can and should be doing. And we just want to improve metrics overall, especially our CSAT scores. And so when we talk about best practices to share, we really do focus on what are the wins and the watchouts. We want to make sure we have the right scope, the right requirements, specs, manner. You need to make sure you're taking the time to build out those requirements as much as you want to move fast. You really do need to make sure you have those requirement documents spelled out. So there are no surprises and you can pivot where needed. We do need to train the bot. You need to feed the bot. You can't set it and forget it, as I mentioned earlier. And we want AI to complement our agents. It shouldn't be the only solution. And as we talk about the agent team of the future, this is where we had a challenge where we had to overcome the fear and concerns from our agents when we start talking about AI. So we knew that we needed to focus on highly valued work, our agents did specifically, that is. And we needed to figure out a way that AI could help us with those high volume, low complexity contacts. And so we knew that if we came up with a few of those ideas, and we had a way to drive satisfaction for our team members, we needed to take AI for a test run. We knew that there were some ways to use AI to reduce rework and error rates. And use of the generative AI, we haven't gotten there quite yet, but we do hope to use generative AI internally where the AI can serve up responses for email responses or social responses. There's still a person touching those responses and approving them, but it will make us work faster and drive better responses. And how to leverage technology to mitigate fraud. Is there a way to connect the dots in between our non-D2C teams and our D2C teams to keep an eye on fraud? Or maybe better manage refunds? For us, when we talk about AI, we recently activated speech to text, and then we also activated a way for AI to pull up articles in our knowledge tool for our team. It is really tough to be on our team. We love our consumers, and they're very passionate about our products and their pets, and we need our agents to really focus on those conversations. So we knew when we wanted to activate speech to text and do some other AI with our frontline agents, we needed their buy-in. So we presented them with a business case. We explained to them that we're always going to need a human heart and we would never replace them with AI, but it's a tool to support them, to complement them, and allow the team to really focus on our consumers versus talking and typing. Talking and typing is tough. If you haven't done it, give it a try because it's not easy to do. And we don't want to be distracted from those really important conversations that we need to have with our consumers. We also told the team that AI is going to reduce complexities for them. And so we launched some AI internally. We took it for a test run. Our agents who were part of the pilot, they accepted it. And what was key and how we really won with the rest of the team is we let our agents train the rest of the team and highlight the wins. And so we know through feedback from our team that the small amount of AI activation, tip of the iceberg stuff that we've done has really made their jobs easier, and we take that for a win. We also know that we saw a 3% lift in satisfaction scores because the agents were able to spend the time with the consumers. We saw a 2% improvement in data accuracy because with the speech to text, we're able to populate some of the fields in our CRM tool with that information, which was huge. And we're excited to do a little bit more with that. We saw an 8% reduction in overall handle time, and we have 12 to 15 minute calls. So we're excited to see any type of reduction. And again, we're happy to share that we did see a reduction in training time and things were simplified for the team. And we saw a reduction in attrition. Not the sole reason, our AI, but it was a contributor and we're very happy to share that. And in fact, we have the lowest attrition rates now than we have in the past 3 years. So we're super excited about that. And then reporting of the future. This is a tough one. This is one that we study a lot because it is all about how comfortable are you with data and data technology? How comfortable are you with building Power BI reports or Tableau, using Tableau, or can you build reports with generative AI or do any type of machine learning? So with us, we were a SQL house for many years, and we moved our data, which is very rich and complex, from SQL to Azure with the help of some really smart people on this end. And we've been able to build Power BI reports because we have that data now in the cloud. And we have our data in Power BI reports, we have Power Apps. We've been able to create surveys for internal team members to better gauge how they are using our data, how we can improve our data. We're starting to use text mining and natural language processing for sentiment analysis, predictive analytics, just kind of tip of the iceberg stuff that we're really excited to roll up our sleeves and dig into. We really don't have any examples of data integration to share today, but we know on our D2C programs is a very small example. If you can take the complaints that we're receiving and you can up with a rate maybe by units sold, then there's so much there that we can and should be doing that we're really excited to get started on this work. And so just as in some final thoughts, this is really just the beginning of our AI conversations. Topics will and should continue. This is really a journey. It is just the beginning for us. We know that it's our obligation to our consumers and to our frontline team members to keep moving forward. You really do need to ask questions. You need to use your imagination. What if we did this? How do we get from here to there? Are things that I'm constantly asking myself, asking my team. You need to create the right use case to help you find the right technology partner for you. PolyAI is a great example. Ask your CRM, ask your BPO teams as well. That's how we got started before we had the pleasure of meeting the PolyAI group. You need to really assess your current technology landscape, build that roadmap, test, test, test. It's so important. Consumers are really impatient with a poor digital experience. They'll give you a couple times to figure it out, but after that, they're done and they may walk away. And we've learned that as well. You need to pivot quickly if needed, start small, study, pivot, and enhance as needed. So I hope that was helpful. Anxious to answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Terri. It was very insightful. I appreciate that. Love the enthusiasm towards making sure that the customer voice is heard and being such an advocate. And with such a prominent brand, Purina Nestle touches all of us. I am really curious, before we get to some of the Q&A questions that were submitted, and feel free to do that right now if you have it. We have some in the queue, so looking forward to getting those addressed too. I would love to understand a little bit more about that seemingly very interesting correlation between, obviously, your approach in your rubric of deploying AI and making sure that the agents, the people who have been there manning your contact center, were aware of it and felt confident in it. Often some pushback that we get from the centers themselves are, what does this mean for human employees? And I think a pervasive fear of AI is this going to take my job? Is this going to replace the need for me? You address that proactively. You let them know that this is actually going to make your job easier. And yes, as a result, attrition went down and was at its lowest, you said, that has been recorded. Do you see that as being a direct correlation? Were there other elements involved that kept your attrition so low?
It's a great question. I think it really was, we understood that we're all in with technology, from the agents that helped us with our pilot to our supervisors, team leads, directors. Everyone has to play a role in supporting where we're going in the future. Again, if we don't make these decisions, somebody else will make them for us. And I think it was really important to get the frontline team involved. I think having them part of training and then being in any type of post-training discussion and addressing any gaps really helped show the team that we're walking the walk and talking the talk as it relates to how much we care about the team. Had we not done that kind of business case approach and explained how we needed some help to prove what we're thinking is correct, we may not have gotten as far. But if we included the team in the discussion and not just pushed it on them, I think that was one of our keys to success as well.
Excellent, excellent.
Great question. Yeah.
Want to make sure that we address some of the questions that are in the queue. Again, thank you so much. This one's coming in from Suzanne. I hope it's Suzanne. If not, Susan. How is AI being used for onboarding?
Our agents, our new team members.
Yeah, I guess I just lost the question there. How is AI being used for onboarding team members? Are you currently using it for some training as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Suzanne. We are leveraging AI. We have learning management systems that are helping the team understand our products, services, processes, procedures. I think the way that the biggest bang for the buck right now is how we have AI pulling up our articles and our knowledge base based on keywords that the consumers are sharing. So it's saving some time for the new hire training because they can just put in the keywords or the question, and the AI comes is powered to pull up the information in front of the agent. It does, if anything, gives them so much more confidence. And we know we lose a lot of people in new hire training who may not feel like it's their cup of tea, pet food and our category. But we have seen a lift in folks sticking and staying with us because the training is not so daunting as it was once, maybe a few years back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The next question is, how do you make sure the AI agent offers the same brand experience as a live agent?
So we haven't gotten to a point yet, and that's a really great piece that I need to keep in mind, where the AI is speaking on our behalf. And so I think working with
Mm.
the amazing team at PolyAI, those are some things that we're gonna figure out as we work together. So thanks for the question, but we haven't gotten there quite yet. It's all
Maybe then,
agent.
and
Go
maybe
ahead.
then, in an anticipation, what sort of proactive steps are you doing in the planning process to ensure that that experience is that of your best agent?
Yeah, yeah. So we always want to make sure that we're going to have a way to reach our agents with the AI up front. Anything that's consumer facing, it's really important that you can reach an agent easily. We don't want to
Right,
frustrate consumers. We don't want to block them from reaching our team. We know that our consumers, they may email us at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're calling us at 10. So that's just how our consumers roll. So we want to make sure that we're being consistent with what we're saying, but most importantly, we want to make sure we're allowing consumers to self-serve, but we want to make sure they can reach us in an easy manner as well, if that helps.
no, definitely. And maybe we have time for one more question, if that's
Mhm.
okay with you.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Excellent, wonderful. The last question before we move on to our next session is, was there any resistance or concerns from your team or customers? Maybe more on the customers piece, because I know you addressed a little bit about how you manage the team expectations internally,
Mhm.
but maybe even outside of the direct contact center. Were there any other concerns that you heard from other business units or in preparing the customer base for this AI deployment? What were some of those concerns, and how did you manage them?
So what I continue to hear from my peers is we don't know where to start. And so, and I hear that through other organizations that I belong to as well, where people are just struggling at where do I start? How do I begin? So I think joining meetings like this, trainings, discussions like this, being part of any professional organization that you can meet up with PolyAI at one of those events is a small example, is really great to be able to understand what's possible. For our consumers, again, we're going to have to test and learn and see
Right,
what's working with our consumers and what's not. We know that our satisfaction did not decrease when we activated our agent-facing AI. In fact, it went up. So we know we're on the right
great.
path there, but those are things that we're going to keep an eye out for. Great
Excellent. Thank
question.
you so much, Terry. Really appreciate your
Oh,
time, and thanks for all of your insights. Thanks for kicking us off. What a great
Yeah.
session.
Oh my gosh.
We needed it needed more puppies though. We definitely needed more puppies and
I know I
kitties in
should have brought
France.
my dachshunds. But thank you all so much. So touched, so honored to be part of your day. Have a wonderful day. Thanks
Same
again.
to you. Take care, Terry.
Thank you. Bye now.